like I just get in at 11:30 there. Just. I said for past, I just get in there by a millisecond. Let's just get this shit show over and by with, shall we? Well, hello and welcome in to this Tuesday's movie news. I am Jonathan C. Walsh, here to speak about the world of Hollywood, the movie industry, news within the world of movies. And in this case, I am choosing to scrape the barrel so far that I am now outside the confines of the actual barrel itself and deep into the earth below. There is a real dearth of movie news this week. Stephen knew about that yesterday. That's why we ultimately spoke about The Grey Man yesterday. Not that we're not excited about The Grey Man, not that we're not interested in the actual reactions, reviews for The Grey Man, but even still, there's a dearth of movie news. I have discovered it today, really toiling to get some interesting topics, but I'm hoping the ones that I have managed to dig out at this ungodly hour are interesting. No, you're not in a time machine. This is what I'm speaking about. It's not 2019. Although I was speaking today about the sort of last 2.5 years, the pandemic, and how it's robbed us. Time seems to have merged. There is time slips afoot over the course of the last couple of years. And this feels like it was yesterday. Martin Scorsese out promoting The Irishman 2019. And he gave some thoughts on Marvel movies, on the MCU as a construct. He referred to them as amusement parks in terms of films, open to all, a little bit of fun, but a little bit empty. That was his words, not mine. Well, Kevin Smith was out speaking recently. He was out talking to, I believe, Variety? Forbes. Nice to see the memories working. He was out speaking to Forbes about a wide array of different things, about Lady Gaga potentially portraying Harley Quinn in a Joker spin-off, no less a musical. And then obviously the subject of Martin Scorsese was broached, his throwaway remarks on Marvel movies, referring to them as amusement rides of movies, as being a bit empty. And this is what Kevin Smith had to say about those comments 3 years later. I'm sure Kevin had something to say about those comments at the time. He's got a fantastic fucking show that he does, he live tours with, so I'm pretty sure he says his thoughts at the time. But this is what he had to say in this interview with Forbes regarding the comments of one legendary Martin Scorsese on the world of Marvel and the films that they bestow us with. Hello, Mike, Stan Shill, Porter. Welcome in. I'm a Stan Shill as well. I'm a fucking Disney shill. I'm that much of a Disney shill that I chose, I should say, not to include a topic about the treatment of CGI artists on their movies and TV shows. I thought that's a bit negative. You're going after the Disney machine, you're going after Marvel. I'm going to step the fuck away from that topic and not speak about it, because I will not have anything said about it. But look, this is what Kevin's getting into here. He's getting into tribalism. He said, she said, and why we must rise above this and become better individuals, become a better species. I can't even speak. Species. Turn into Sean Connery more and more as I get older. I feel like I'm Sean Connery just now in the what was it called? The one where he ended up a skull at the end. It wasn't The Last King, it was something like that though. Very much a bald man in that movie as well. I feel like him in that movie, because of course if I take my hat off I am a bit of a slaphead. I've got more hair than Sean had, and he was probably my age when he was doing Bond, bizarrely. He fucking looked a lot older. I think he was older than me, but not much. But anyway, look man, that aside, this is what Kevin Smith had to say. Oftentimes those directors, it seems, have been in situations where doing junkets or an interview situation, and it's a question that gets thrown in there, and it's not like them going, get me the New York Times, I want to tell somebody how I feel about comic book movies. It's also an adjacent to I can't even speak tonight. It's also an adjacent to a zillion other questions that are being asked. But in our culture, in our very tribal culture, somebody like Martin Scorsese referring to comic book movies as amusement parks and theme park rides gets a bunch of people who have made comic book movies their lives for the last 10 years very unhappy. And of course, Kevin Smith made comics and the whole geek culture his life for much longer than 10 years. So this guy, I'm quite happy to have this guy being the spokesperson of the whole comic book zeitgeist and fandom in general. Quite happy having that guy up there speaking. Yeah, but what's right and wrong in this whole really nitpicking, irrelevant bickering that's going on about comic book movies? Because it's all needless. There's still some brilliant movies. I'm going to speak about a guy at the end of this show who makes fantastic movies. They ain't comic book movies, and he gets his stuff seen, and there's buzz. Motherfucker picked up the most Academy Awards won in a single night since Walt Disney in the 1950s, and it ain't no comic book movie. So if you want to get a movie out there that doesn't feature spandex or someone flying or shields, you're going to get it seen if it's good. People will watch it if it is good. MCU is incredible in my opinion, and I'm loving Phase 4. I've still to see 4. I'm going to go and see 4 on Saturday. That's why I'm not speaking about 4. I'm off Saturday. I'm going to dedicate my Saturday to 4, Love and Thunder. I cannot wait to see what Taika has gave us. I'm hearing things about it. It's getting me excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie. I'm hoping it's good. Mike, I know you will have seen it probably about 15 times already. So if you want to share your general views on the movie, then I'm more than happy to read it. Just don't. I know you wouldn't spoil it anyway. But really looking forward to seeing 4. In general, in terms of Phase 4, I'm happy with the way they're going as well. Is it as good as perhaps the final stages of the Infinity War? Of course it isn't. But that was characters coming to the end of their natural shelf life after we'd spent a decade with them, and they just developed brilliantly beside each other. So that'll come. We're in the formative stages of this new era of storytelling. It will definitely come. You're asking a guy, this is what he continued, you're asking a guy who made Goodfellas what he thinks about Spider-Man. What do you think you're going to get? He's a very serious filmmaker, and he's a man who's of a certain age and stuck in his ways. You should not be surprised that's his response. For every old filmmaker who's like, I don't get it, there's a bunch of young filmmakers who are like, I get it and I want to do it. We don't have to ostracise the people that maybe don't get or aren't into the same movies we are. And I think that's very wise words indeed from Kevin, and ultimately something that should be applicable to all things in modern day life. There is too much tribalism in politics, there's too much tribalism in everything now. And of course, social media being a magnifying glass, it displays all of the ills of modern day life, like an ugly sore, like a bit of cancer, maybe dancing around in a little, I don't know what the fuck they would be dancing around in, but you know what I'm talking about, little things, the cylindrical disc things that they use in scientific labs. That's what social media does for humankind in the 21st century. The bickering, the tribalism, the cancel culture is there for all to see. Too many people don't want to speak anymore if they have different opinions. They want to live in echo chambers and just repeat the same thing and hear the same thing being repeated back to them. So it's great to see Kevin Smith coming out and saying this, man. Look, do I agree with Martin Scorsese's comments? Absolutely fucking not. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've got Captain America's shield behind me. Mjolnir's there. I love the universe. I've spent years of my life watching these movies. I love the characters. I love the development. I love what it's done for a new era of directors, because at the start they couldn't afford the Sam Raimis of the world. They couldn't bring in a Scorsese if he was interested. So they picked up and coming, uncut, rough gems and made them into something. So I like what they've done for filmmakers. I like what they've done for the careers of relative unknown actors. I didn't know who Chris Evans was outside of Fantastic Four. I didn't know who Chris Hemsworth was. I didn't know who Scarlett Johansson was. I wasn't even sure who Jeremy Renner was prior to the MCU. They gave these people careers that were more mainstream in a way, more accessible to a bigger audience. And then the movies themselves are just fucking great. I love them. I really do. I think in the main, you probably count in one hand the amount of misses out of 20 plus movies. So the legacy of Feige and of Marvel stands there, and you can scrutinise it, but it's going to stand the test of time, man. I think it's had one of the greatest runs of any producer in Hollywood, right up there with your Kennedys and whoever the fuck else is a great producer in Hollywood. I'd have to search the names up. Frank, her husband. Anyway, Kathleen Kennedy I'm speaking about. The problem with the CGI problem is it's an industry problem, not just a Disney problem, and has been a problem for the past 10 to 20 years. Campea has spoke to this a long time ago. He worked in that industry a long time ago. He slept on cots. It's a hard life. It really is, man. That industry's hard, period. It's hard working, man. People don't quite understand that it's not all glitz and glam, red carpets, wearing Gucci, wearing Louis Vuitton. You get up at stupid hours, you work very, very long shifts, and albeit it is condensed into a shorter period, and then you're kind of fucking rolling in money after that, but if you're a rich film star. But for these relative unknowns, the cast and the crew, who aren't top billing, it's a hard life, man. And I think that's just one aspect of harsh treatment with these big huge companies. Disney are massive, Warner Brothers are massive. Do they really care about every little individual person on the set? I don't think they do. And some will get the short stick, plain and simple, straw, whatever. And you're seeing that with this person that came out and spoke about it. He admitted it wasn't a Chapek problem, it's been something that's been there for the last 10 plus years with Marvel, Disney. It's just modern day filmmaking. Gigantic. Small countries. Kevin Smith spoke about it when on a Star Wars set and says it was like a small country. The set. So they're fucking gigantic. Here's my non-spoiler review of Thor Love and Thunder. It was a perfect blend of humour, action, heartfelt, darkness, rock and roll to give me a swashbuckling summer blockbuster fun time. Bale and Portman gave depth to this silly blockbuster, very balanced. That's everything I wanted, Mike, I'm not going to lie. I've not seen enough about Christian Bale in the early reactions, reviews. Looking forward to seeing this guy. Been a huge fan of him since he was a little guy, watching him in some mental movies. And obviously, a child actor who seemed to have bucked the trend. Not many have done that. He's a generational talent. And just great to see this guy coming back to a comic book movie, playing a villain. I've heard, even though he is a bit goofy at times, some fucking darkness in there. It's a quite a disturbing performance. So, the fact he's given depth, and Portman as well, that character deserves that depth. And the story, Love and Thunder, it's about Jane, really, isn't it? Her relationship, the dynamic with her and Thor. So, really looking forward to it. And look, you've ticked all the boxes there that I want from a Waititi movie: humour, action, heartfelt, darkness, rock and roll, swashbuckling. That's what I expect from Taika. The guy's a master when it comes to these kind of movies. Getting you out your seat, having you crying like a bitch. The full shebang. Kevin went on to speak, incidentally, about another thing that's continually been recited, the likes of Ridley Scott, Scorsese. More recently, why am I blanking on this guy's name? Fuck me. Denis Villeneuve came out and called them cut and paste movies, Marvel movies. And basically it's just, this continual remark that they're all the same. They're the same kind of movie, and this is what he had to say. I think it's the way we make the movies. I think all the movies are relatively different. I think there's a narrative that people like to write about because they're all produced by the same team and they all inhabit the same fictional cinematic universe. But we look for common similarities. And I'm not saying there aren't common similarities throughout it. I think Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man Homecoming are two totally different types of movies. They're both fun. People enjoy them. Is that a similarity? If so, I'll take it. If that's a criticism, I'll take that too. I completely agree, man. And what you've just said there, Mike, just have fun. Don't expect too much. I think that's something you can apply to the entire cinematic universe. Stop being so stuffy, being so snobby, and expecting human condition stories that are going to fight for Oscar wins. That's not what you're getting from these movies, although they are there in bits and bobs. I think Tony Stark's whole arc is fucking mastery. On a cinematic level, on a performance level, it's fantastic, the journey he goes on. So, I mean, you just go in and have fun. Watch these movies, take a bag of popcorn, a big fuck off drink, have fun, man, enjoy it. Forget about your ills, forget about the worries in life, suspend disbelief. It's great, I love it. And there's some brilliant people involved now. And one of those people who's potentially want to get involved, and this isn't actually part of this topic, but I couldn't be arsed making it a topic, is this guy, because it's brief, very short and sweet, and I'm just going to add it onto this, tack it on, stick it on with a bit of blue tack. Take me back to my childhood there, blue tack. Do you remember that? Some fucking weirdos, I'm sure, used to eat that back in the day. I think little kids back in the 90s had something wrong with them. They almost certainly tried to eat everything. Certainly glue and stuff like that in my day. Strange bunch. That seems to have developed out of society. Almost mutated. This desire to stick anything in your gob. And that's probably wrong to say that. Because, yeah, innuendo. But look, man. Ryan was out speaking. He was basically asked, talked about the MCU, denied popular rumours that he was going to play Nova. As a character, I'd have loved to have seen him play, incidentally. He's got the blonde hair, he's got the sort of charming looks to him. And of course, Nova, it's Nova Corps. It's these sort of smug police of the universe, or the galaxy type things going on. And you've got some really interesting characters in there. And the exploration of that in maybe a TV show would have been very interesting with Gosling there. Gosling, you could argue, too big an actor to be getting bogged down on TV shows on Disney Plus, but hey ho, man, we've had Ewan McGregor in there, so maybe not. But look, that's neither here nor there. He said he's not going to do that, but he came back and spoke to Josh Horowitz of MTV News and says there is one character that he'd be interested in playing in the MCU, and that is Ghost Rider. Now, of course, Ghost Rider was being spoke about recently. There was rumours that they were looking to perhaps reboot Ghost Rider. Of course, Nick Cage played the character before, I'm pretty fucking sure. Talk that they were looking to reboot it. And of course it's supernatural, and we're going down that route with Blade. We've kind of went down that route with WandaVision, this sort of supernatural element, the witches and stuff like that. This would be the natural evolution of that journey into supernatural, cosmic sort of storytelling. Bring in a Ghost Rider. And I would be adverse to bringing Ryan Gosling in. I think the guy's perfect. He's got that humour to him. I think he's a brilliant actor, as I says. He's a tallish chap, good looks, with attractive female demographic, and probably attract a certain degree of the male demographic in as well. He's a well-known actor, and I just think he would slide into that MCU humour perfectly. I really do. And has he got the sort of edge to him, the darkness, to play Ghost Rider? Absolutely he has. Anyone that's watched Drive or Driver, I never do remember the name of that movie, will tell you that there is a sort of simmering forebodingness to Ryan. When he wants to do it, he can certainly do it. We're getting a kind of test run of that in The Grey Man. We're going to see what he can do in a big action movie, leading it. I think he could do it. And if he's interested in coming into the MCU, I'm all for that, man. Hopefully he's hitting Kevin Feige up just now, because certainly Mahershala Ali did that for Blade, and it seemed to fucking work for him. Oh, but he's a double Oscar winner. Mike, you've said this, the only reason it's cut and paste is because the MCU is a factory. They keep up with the content. To me, enough quality, but it doesn't hit everyone that way, especially the shows. I think they're doing a wide array of different stuff, man, I really do. And I think comic book movies as a whole have been doing different things, have been subverting the genres for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years now. We've been getting westerns in there, we've been getting sort of just enough nuance and differences in the individual movies that they don't feel cut and paste. Of course, it's superheroes set in the same universe, so it's going to have a degree of connectivity, as Kevin Smith did say, but I think there's enough differences in there, man. You can't sit here and tell me the Russos are doing the same kind of movie, Sam Raimi's doing the same kind of movie as James Gunn or Taika Waititi. They just fucking aren't. They're totally different directors. It's going to have a different vibe, different feel. They need to shut up. They really do. Just stop criticising. Go out, get off your lazy arses, or asses, as everyone else likes to say, and make good movies. Stop moaning about the MCU movies cleaning up at the box office. Tom Cruise has proven it with Top Gun. It made over $1 billion. Shut the fuck up and make good movies, man. Plain and simple. But look, next topic. Topic. Tessa Thompson, I was about to say Smith, don't know why, has been out praising Michael B. Jordan. Speaking about MCU again, he obviously played Eric Killmonger in Black Panther, one of the best villain performances I've seen in the universe, sans Josh Brolin as Thanos, perhaps Hiddleston as Loki. Brilliant actor, made the jump to directing, double duty of course on Creed 3, a franchise he's now come into his own in. He's kind of doing the Stallone thing. 2 movies later, I'm pretty sure Sly was heavily involved in the creative process at Rocky. Early doors, fought tooth and nail to get the movie made. I think he maybe have, I don't know, sold his dog or something like that. I mind that fucking story. And now we're getting the same thing happening with Michael B. Jordan. He's stepping into the director's seat for the 3rd instalment to this movie. And Tessa, his co-star, his wife on screen, has come out and spoke about it, how they're ad-libbing and doing all manner of cool shit on the set, and she loves his style, even compares him to Taika Waititi, which is fucking really high praise indeed, has to be said. But you've said this, but you're exactly right, it takes a city to make a movie, it takes one to build a Disney Plus show. The making of Moon Knight showed that they recreated Cairo in a museum. It's incredible, it really is, man. Honestly, there's not enough appreciation goes out to the work these people do, and it's a real monumental task of these different departments working cohesively to make something and to consistently hit the ball out the park in terms of content, tone, consistently making big money. No one outside of James Cameron's been doing this in Hollywood, in the world, with that consistency, and he's just one fucking man, and sort of generationally gifted man. To keep this going for over 10 years, man, I think they deserve more credit than they get. It's a disgrace. But that's life, man. People like to build things up and then shoot them down. And I'm sure at one point they were all creaming themselves about Tony Stark, about Robert Downey Jr.'s redemption, about this cute little universe that was building. Now that it's became a fucking mammoth juggernaut, they don't like it so much anymore. They want to shoot at it. Like Tusken Raiders and the Phantom Menace. Don't know why that came to my head, but it did. Or Sand People, as my generation should be calling it. But yeah, let's what Tessa had to say about Michael B. Jordan, about her experience on the set of Creed 3. She had this to say: he's really happy with the edit. Is this the first quote? I think there's 2 quotes. There is 2 quotes. In the past, it's been a lot of work to make sure that she has agency and an arc in the context of these sport films, essentially. I wanted to make sure that she's not just moving the plot forward, and that she actually has something interesting to do. And I typically do that work with the writers, which has been a great process thus far, but this time around I could do that work more actively with Michael B. Jordan. I also had a lot more freedom to improvise on the day than the past ones. He gave me a lot of license to do that, so that felt different. But it didn't change the dynamic between these characters. Incidentally, I spoke about Michael B. Jordan being connected to MCU. Fucking Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie. Jesus Christ, man. Get a grip, John. Tessa Thompson's in there as well. Well, that's great to hear, man. It's great to hear they've got that great vibe. Because obviously with them being pretty close friends, I think, off screen, they certainly get on well. They seem to have great chemistry. Pardon me. Sounding like Alan Partridge when his stalker fan chokes him out. Chester! Throat was gone there. There we go, I'm good. Obviously with them being kind of close, having this sort of camaraderie off set, off camera, and having that great chemistry in front of the camera too, as this husband and wife duo, and I thought that really came out in the second movie. That was with the deafness thing with the baby, and really focusing on that element. There's always a danger when he becomes the director. It's almost like a football manager, a player stepping in and doing the sort of coaching footballing role, and then the guys he was good friends with, suddenly he has to be their boss. That can maybe upset the apple cart at times, but it seems like the opposite has happened here with Michael and obviously Tessa, and perhaps everyone else who's been involved consistently in this franchise. He seems to have slid in, and he's just allowing them to do their thing. Obviously he's worked with loads of directors, the likes of Ryan Coogler, and you're not learning from better people, man, than that on a set, how to direct, whilst also adding your own little nuances in there, your own little stylistic flourish. But it's nice to see that he's come in and he's just slid into it. He's, according to this quote, made a really good movie. He's happy with the edit, and he's letting the actors have freedom. I think the best work comes out when you let them have freedom. You've seen Chris Hemsworth speaking about that with Taika Waititi, how he felt they had to conform to a certain vision, the Shakespearean stuffiness of Thor. When Taika came in, he opened it up, there was freedom. It made his life easier. He was enjoying the character more. It reinvigorated him so much so I think he signed a new contract, a new deal, multi-picture deal to play for. So it's great to see that Michael's obviously embodying that in some way on Creed, because that'll make him a great director moving forward, man. People will want to work with him, and I want to see this guy succeed in life. I think he's a fucking great guy, so I want to see him be a great director as good as he is a great actor. But look, this is what she had to say about the general edit, the experience, if you like. She goes into the close friendship. He's really happy with the edit. Bianca's really great. It was so fun making Creed 3, in particular because Mike and I have such a close friendship and so much trust. So it was great to really collaborate with him on character and script. It was just such a pleasure. Similar to Taika and I on Thor Love and Thunder, it was really nice to be actively working on the script and pitching ideas back and forth about where Val would be. So I really felt integral in shaping the character's journey this time around. And that was definitely the same with Bianca. I'm excited for fans that have been allowing us to see the evolution and growth of both these characters. We also set the foundation for them to continue to grow if fans still want to show up and see these films. I think the Creed films have been brilliant, man. I've really enjoyed them. You've also had the lingering shadow of Apollo and of Rocky in there, but I think he really stepped into his own two shoes, if you'd like. Is that what you say? I don't know. In the second movie, and obviously him becoming the director, it was almost symbolic of where this character's going, where the actor's going. He's developed, he's became his own man. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the way they take it. I'm looking forward to seeing the evolution of this husband and wife duo, of the sort of friendship of Tessa and Michael off the screen. I always like to watch the junkets and the interviews and stuff like that and see what they're doing, promoting movies, because you get a vibe of where the relationship is. Fuck knows, everyone's seen the Brie Larson and Jeremy Renner stuff and Chris Hemsworth stuff when they were promoting Infinity War or Endgame, whatever it was. You get a vibe from the press junkets. So fucking looking forward, man. Looking forward to seeing Creed. Glad to see Michael slid into directing things seamlessly. And yes, I'm going to end on this. You know what, I might end in Stephen Yeun, because I don't really give a shit about Amy Winehouse. I don't give a fuck about Amy Winehouse. I threw it in there. I made the admission at the start of the show. I was toiling for movie news tonight. But I can talk the legs off of a fucking dead horse, man, so... And I've just made a saying up. And we're 30 minutes in, so I think I've done well. Mike said this to say, my new joke is that I live in one of the chambers of Kevin Feige's heart. I'm definitely an MCU stan shell. Look, there's nothing wrong with that, Mike. There's nothing wrong with liking what you like. Never apologise to anyone. That's my motto in life. Fuck them. If you like it, even if everyone thinks it's terrible, and they don't in this case, most people like the MCU, never apologise. Never. I live in one of the chambers of his heart as well. I live and breathe what the guy creates. Some of the best movie-going experiences in the last 10 years for me have involved this guy's movies, or his creative input on a producing level, so fuck them. That's always my motto in life. That was very, see Liam Payne there, he's the world's greatest mantra, the way I said motto. But yeah, Amy Winehouse, biopic's moving forward, it's got a director. I was just going to speak about it briefly. Obviously she died, I think it's 12 years now she's been gone. Interesting character in life, also the drugs, the sort of debauchery of her lifestyle personally, the sort of tragic nature of it, the descent into madness and just losing grasp of or control, really, going off, spiralling. Great singer, made 2 hugely successful albums, beautiful looking woman, man, before she kind of hit the drugs. Really interesting life, and the kind of life it deserves to be delved into in a biopic, so I'm glad to see they are making a biopic. Again, who do you cast? I mean, she's such an interesting and unique looking person. Is there someone out there who can step in? I'd have probably said the same about Elvis, and look at Austin Butler. I'd have said the same about Freddie Mercury, and look at Rami Malek. I'd have said the same about Elton John, and look at Taron Egerton. I'd have said the same about Jim Morrison, and look at Val Kilmer. So it can be done. I'd have said the same about John Lennon, and look at your man who now stepped one step too far in these comparisons and forgot his name. Doctor Who guy. Why am I forgetting his name? Mank from Manchester. He done a great John Lennon. So anybody can really be cast, and they can become a chameleon, of course. Marilyn Monroe's been done as well. So look, there's always someone out there who can embody a big personality and make that character their own. And I always find if these movies get done right, it's potential Oscar winning material. So off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody who can come in and play her right now, but I'm glad to see the biopic is moving forward. She's got the perfect life for it. And there's always that sort of morbid curiosity of what went on in the final days of someone's life. How did it all fucking play out? Are they going to explore that in a biopic? I don't know. Maybe they'll go out in a crescendo and celebrate their music, fuck knows. But with Amy, I think the tragedy is so intrinsically linked to the success. Everyone, I mean, there's always someone like that, and isn't there? You think of Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones. The success was too much, he couldn't handle the fame, and it almost created the sort of nosedive that's intrinsically linked, so they have to explore it. It's going to be interesting. Creed 3 should be good. Amy Winehouse biopic should be interesting. Yeah, it just depends on who they get in, isn't it, to play the character, really. It's so important to get that casting right, and if you don't, the whole movie will crumble. But look, man, this is going to end on this. I mentioned at the start of the show with Kevin Smith out speaking about Marvel movies and Martin Scorsese, and the comments, the continual little sarcastic, snarky little biting remarks about Marvel movies and how they are destroying cinema and how it's, in a sense, preventing independent-minded, drama-driven, or maybe even romantic comedy-driven directors from making interesting movies that will do well at the box office, that will demand attention, eyeballs, because all of these spandex-wearing superheroes are taking up 50 screenings in these big cinema complexes. Well, this fucking guy proves that that's not the case Bong Joon-ho. Guy's been hugely successful. Made hit after hit after hit. Okja gets mentioned, I don't even know if I've said that name right. Mother. Snowpiercer. Parasite, most recently. One of the best movies I have watched in my life. Not even in the last 10-15 years. One of the best movies I have ever fucking watched came from this guy's mind. And he's making another movie. And Stephen Yeun's back. He's joining him. He worked with him on Okja, if that's how you say the name of it. He's joined the cast. This guy shucks that whole mentality that you can't make an interesting independent movie and have people watch it and have success with it at the box office. Critically acclaimed, 4-time Oscar winner, Bong Joon-ho, shits all over the argument. If you make a good movie, it will be seen. People will want to see it. It will make money. Again, Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick. Who the fuck would have predicted that movie would make over $1 billion at the box office in 2022, 30 odd years after the first? No one. It's a good movie though. People wanted to see it. Is it an independent movie? Well, it is compared to a fucking Marvel movie, so yes. So, get shat on, in a sense. But look, anyway, Stephen Yeun. Love this guy, man. I've been watching this guy since the Walking Dead days. Brilliant actor. Most recently probably seen him in Minari, I think it was. Played something completely different in that movie. Sort of stubborn, fledgling farmer in the Midwest of America. And obviously a Korean... it's no immigrant, is it? A Korean immigrant coming in and trying to acquiesce into this different world. And fuck, he did. The family did. They were accepted. But it was just really hard going for them, and I really enjoyed that movie. It was one of my favourite movies a couple of years ago. It may have been last year actually, because I remember the other one, Chloe Zhao one, Nomadland, and Minari came out about the same time, and I enjoyed that movie more than Nomadland. And I thought, how fucking I don't even know what I thought. My brain's totally blanked. It was something along the lines of, how did that movie earn a Best Picture? Did it win the Best Picture that year? I don't even know if it did, now that I think about it. Chloe Zhao won Best Director. Frances McDormand won Best Actress. Did it win Best Picture? I think Nomadland did win Best Picture last year, or whatever year it was out. What won the Oscar last year? Or this year, now that I've come to think about it. What won the Oscar? I don't know, I've lost my fucking mind here. But anyway, I like Nomadland, but I preferred Minari. Stephen Yeun was in it. He's a brilliant actor. It's too late here, man. It's very warm. My brain is fucking melting. So this is going to be a disaster of an end to this. But look, anyway, man, he's making another movie, Bong Joon-ho. He's cast Stephen Yeun. It already features the leading talents of Robert Pattinson. One of the reasons I'm speaking about this, not just for Bong Joon-ho, to show him appreciation, and so to bookend what I was speaking about at the start of the show about independent filmmaking and how it can still work. But this guy's incredible ability to seek out the great directors, even if they're not a great director at the point he seeks them out and they subsequently become. But he just seems to have this great knack of working with some of the best directors in the industry. Robert Eggers, Safdie brothers. I'd say Matt Reeves. I think he's fucking brilliant. And obviously now, Bong Joon-ho. This guy, what a career this man has had. Honestly, I just cannot stress enough. If you think he's just a Twilight guy, you cannot be further from the truth. This guy is just a chameleon of an actor, and he gets better and better and better. So the fact he's leading this movie fucking excites me. And what else excites me is the concept. Sort of dystopian sci-fi, going to an alien world, regeneration. It's almost like cloning. They send this disposable, expendable figure in, Mickey 7. He's called Mickey 7 because he's on his 7th life. And he just keeps dying, and just the wisdom he keeps, his memories every time he regenerates, the wisdom that bestows him with. Neil Miyagi's in there, Mark Ruffalo's in there, Toni Collette is in there, man. What a cast. What a cast, man. And of course Stephen Yeun is working. Coda did win for 2022, you're absolutely right, Mike. The reason I don't know that is because 2021, last year, was a year for movies in which I seem to miss every fucking movie. we were so deep down in the rabbit hole of just watching loads of great Indian content that we just forgot to watch Western stuff. Just flat out forgot to watch it. I missed a lot, man. Not one thing did I watch. So we just completely missed. We didn't even speak about the Oscars. We normally speak about the Oscars every single year. And we know enough about the movies because we've seen them all. We missed everyone. But Coda, yeah, that was the one about the deaf family, the daughter. I think it was. She was very much able to hear. And it's like a whole society, I'm sure, of deaf families and how people living with them, how it impacts on their life. It was such an interesting concept. Of course, Gianni, who writes for us, and obviously is just a part of the actual fucking thing that we do here. We've had him on multiple times. He rated it, I think his number 2 movie of last year. I think his number 1 was Inside, a comedian sort of documentary one, and he fucking praised it. So respect that guy's opinion that much that, look, it didn't surprise me when it won the Oscar. So Nomadland was 2021, yeah. I told you, I says at the start of the show, Mike, I don't know if you were in at that point, but I says, yes, I'm speaking about something that happened in 2019, but such as the pandemic years, it's all blended into one. It's been a fucking shambles the last 2.5 years for me. It's gone like that. It all just mixes in. So much so that when I hear things from, 2015, I think, well, that's that song from, 4 or 5 years ago. And then I look it up and it's like, that was fucking 7 years ago, man. That was 8 years ago. What is going on? What has happened with the fucking time? So it's just, again, all connects. All connects. Me losing my mind momentarily, forgetting what Oscars won what in what year. It all connects into just the shit show that is life in the last 2 years. But we'll come back. We'll become better again. I'm sure the minds will heal. At least my mind will heal. And it will heal first and foremost by me going to see Taika Waititi's Fall of Thunder on Saturday, which I'm looking very much forward to. So I'm going to end on that note. I am done. I'm sweating profusely here. It's incredibly fucking warm. Not as warm as Englandshire in London, which is getting absolutely smacked about, senseless, with 40-degree heat, but it's still warm here. So I'm going to round it up. And of course, Mike, you're from Georgia. So I can only imagine how humid and how warm it is just now. You are from Georgia, aren't you, Mike? I'm pretty sure you are. I think you said you were from Georgia. Can't remember the actual city you said you were from. Was it Atlanta? I don't know. But I think you said you were from Georgia. And I mind saying it's fucking warm as hell. Because of course, The Walking Dead came back to Stephen Yeun, it all connects. 7 degrees of separation. Done his shit for The Walking Dead. Primarily in Georgia. And I remember them always saying, unbelievably fucking warm, unbelievably humid. Bill and Ted Face the Music should have won. Never did watch it, Mike. I didn't watch the other movies. So that whole William Sadler death thing just flew over my head. I wasn't going back and watching the first 2 to try and catch up with the third. It was never something I was going to do. So I stayed away from it. And a clean-shaven Keanu Reeves is a weird thing. A weird thing. It should never be allowed. The only man in existence who looks younger with a beard. Or with a beard. North of Atlanta, it's, yeah, devilish. What is that, hot as hell here? I thought it was a little devil there. I thought it was horns. I think that says more about my eyesight than it does about the emoji. I can imagine it is, man. Yeah, it's fucking warm here as well. 20 degrees is warm for a Scotsman. And on that note though, I'm going to round up. I'm going to walk my dog. And I'm going to re-edit a video for the 4th time in as many days. Try and hoodwink the YouTube copyright system into allowing it out. I'm going nuke this time. I'm going to fucking Hiroshima this shit. That may be a bit inappropriate to say that. That was a place that lost 500,000 lives to a nuclear weapon. And I am sort of minimising it to editing a video. It's a bit disgraceful that. I rescind those comments immediately. I take them back. It's fucking shocking. But look, man, it's going round it up. What's your thoughts on the topics I spoke about on this very disjointed, dementia-riddled at times show? What do you make about Kevin Smith coming out and speaking about Martin Scorsese's 2019 comments about the MCU being amusement rides? Do you agree with him that we should all just settle the fuck down and not so many words? And just forget about it. Stop the tribalism. Stop the he said, she said. Just enjoy life. Enjoy what you enjoy. And not really pay much attention to someone who's 50 years older than you making comments. It doesn't matter. You can share your thoughts down below if you've got anything to say at all about that down in the comment section. You can also share your thoughts on Ryan Gosling. Want to play Ghost Rider? Tessa Thompson speaking about Michael B. Jordan's directing. Very fluid and ad-libbed style of directing on Creed 3. On Amy Winehouse getting a biopic, and finally on Stephen Yeun being cast in the next Bong Joon-ho movie. I don't know what I'm doing here. Very strange. You can share anything down below in the comment section if you feel compelled to share. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs on YouTube, hit the follow button and the notifications thing over on Twitch as well. I'll just call it a thing because I don't know what it is over there. And thank you for fucking watching. That's all I've got to say regardless of what you do. Thank you very much for fucking watching. I'm done. Bye bye. Thank you for the comments. Thank you Mike for coming in. Appreciate it. Have a good night yourself. And bye bye.